and welcome to another episode of Ask Tom. Today we're getting a question from north of the United States border. It's from Canada, and it's from a friend of mine by the name of Neil Bacon. Let's hear what Neil has to ask.
Tom, this is Neil Bacon here. My question is, I am trying to be billed as a family ventriloquist, not just a children's performer. And the problem I'm having is getting people to realize that ventriloquism is more than children. Now, I don't want to go as far as being a quote-unquote adult or blue performer, but I'd like to be able to do something with a little more family reach, a little more age range. So how would I go about promoting family ventriloquist and stop people from thinking of just children?
Hey, Neil, thank you for asking the question. You know, that's a pretty deep question to ask, and I'm going to try to give you as much input and thought as I can on this within the time limit that we kind of have on this video. The first thing I got to tell you is you spent years promoting as a children's entertainer, and you're in a market that you've saturated. So a lot of people know you as a children's entertainer, and to break out of that mold can be really, really difficult, but it can be done. And some of it might be in your own mind because you've been advertising as a family act, as a family entertainer for, I know, a couple of years now, and you have to be getting some shows where they're bringing you in for the family. And when you're nailing those, then that's going to spread word of mouth. Now, you don't have to be blue to entertain adults. In fact, don't, because that would be untrue to what you are. So you can be a clean family entertainer. Nothing wrong with that. It's what you should do. But you're asking, how can I convince clients of that? Well, it's all image, my friend. If a client detects an incongruency, then it makes them question whether or not you're the right act for their event. And I went over your website, which, by the way, Guy, it looks really, really good. You've been did a great job on it. But as I was reading down on your, let's go onto your show page here. We've got fairs and festivals. Okay, they are obviously family events. Then you go right to holiday shows and company picnics. That's great. Then you're going into daycares, preschools, and schools, which is obviously a children's market. And then you're going into birthday parties, which is obviously a children's market. So if I was an event planner looking for a family entertainer, and once it got into this birthday parties and daycares, I'd be like, well, you know, maybe he's more geared for the kids. That'd be the thinking that would go through my head. So you've got to really watch the message that you're putting out, and you've got to keep it consistent all the way across the board because people will do that. And then when we go into, let's see, you've got your testimonials here, and you've got library for use services. Okay, I don't know what Yellowknife is. You've got some people talking about your show. All this stuff is good, but you start out with the libraries, and maybe you did libraries, but you know, I do libraries too. I keep them on a totally different site from my corporate entertainment because I don't want to confuse the corporate buyer. I have a fairs and festivals website. Websites are pretty inexpensive to own now, and they're pretty easy to put together. So, think really about the message and where you're sending the prospective client. And when you talk to them, you want to have your brochure be family-oriented. Or if you're going into schools, you want it to read school-oriented, children's. So watch how you're presenting yourself and make sure you're consistent across the board. And if you're consistent with your advertising message, you'll create a greater security in the person who's thinking about hiring you for an event. And that's my advice, dude. You can be a family entertainer. You are a family entertainer. It's just how you focus yourself. So I hope that helped out. If you want, shoot me another question and, let's dig down into this a little bit more in a future video. And if somebody else has a question, don't forget to head on over to the learn-ventriloquism or learn-ventriloquism.com blog. It's at learn-ventriloquism.com/news, and leave me a voicemail using the new SpeakPipe app, and who knows? Maybe I'll answer your question on one of these videos. Thanks so much for tuning in, and check in again next time when we're going to be answering another question. I'll see you then.